Well, I'd like all the normal things for her to be healthy and happy and everything, but I think I'd really be happy if she's happy with herself. So I think I want for her what she wants for herself.
Brighton, on the south coast. It has been chosen to pilot the government's Every Child Matters initiative. Its ambition to help every child fulfil their potential and achieve their dreams. David Hawker is the man leading the new Children's Trust. This programme, the first in a series of 4, looks at how Every Child Matters affects the 0 to 5 age group.
0 to 5 is about the best possible start in life for children. Health, education, childcare. Good family support, good parenting. Make sure the health checks are there. Make sure that the parents are supported to, look after a very young child.
It's still early days, but the introduction of Every Child Matters is starting to make a difference to lives of young families in Brighton. Victoria lives with her partner Dave in a tiny first-floor flat. She came to Brighton 2 years ago and didn't have roots in the city. Dave, a builder, works long hours, and Victoria was potentially alone and isolated when she had baby Faith 3 months ago.
She wasn't alive when she was born. She had to be resuscitated. So actually lost her heart trace just as she was being born because she had the cord wrapped around her neck. It was more frightening afterwards, I think, when I realised what had actually happened. They had to give me an episiotomy to get her out quickly because they lost her heart trace. It took her 10 minutes to start breathing, which felt like 30 seconds to me, but I didn't know until they give you a report afterwards. They don't tell you anything. They don't like to panic you or anything. I didn't even know whether she was a girl or a boy. They just sort of whisked her away.
Aaron, come here.
Any new mother comes into contact with a number of childcare professions, but for Victoria, there is real difference in the way that the various agencies support her. She and Faith attend the new Tana Shore Start Children's Centre. Here, all the different services for children are put together under one roof.
Kim, she lives at number 14 down the road. Her little boy Julian's nearly 6 months. But we usually walk to the Tana Centre along the seafront, and at the end of the road there's a cafe if it's nice, and we can sit there or go into town and go find a nice top or something.
Walk from Hove, from our road.
How far is it? It's down that way?
It's about another 20 minutes, I think, from here. It's taken us about 10 minutes, so it's about half an hour.
I do have family. They live just up the road, but obviously they work. I've got other brothers and sisters. They can't come out all the time, and my partner's auntie's just had another little girl who's 12 weeks older than her, but they live in Port Slade, so it's a bit of a way to go. So it's just nice to have people to socialise with, to talk to, or if we've got a day off and I don't want to sit and watch the telly all day, it's just nice knowing that there's someone else there. So I can just go and knock on their door, if you like, because they're just over the road.
The Tana Centre represents the new thinking that underpins the whole of the Every Child Matters agenda. Multidiscipline teams focus on the care and development of the whole child, sharing information to speed up procedures and allowing for early intervention if required.
Definitely, it's better for clients, yes, and we have to learn to work in a new way.
So what's the new way?
Working together, sharing information, working with clients in an open way, so that we do joint visits together, so that we're giving them a joined up.
Every Child Matters is probably the most fundamental change in public policy that we've seen for a generation. It's really, I think, quite remarkable how the whole of the policy has shifted around from it being driven by lots of policies to being driven by the needs of children and young people themselves. So it's kind of turned everything inside out. And it's based around what children's needs are, what their aspirations are. The 5 outcomes of Every Child Matters are absolutely superb. You can basically get everything into them being healthy, staying safe, enjoying and achieving, making a positive contribution, achieving economic well-being. And I say to people that if you've got those 5, you actually don't need anything else, because everything else fits into one of those 5 or more of those 5.
The Tana Centre is just the first of the Sure Start children's centres that David Hawker hopes to roll out across the city. He outlines his plans to the board of the Children's Trust.
You're still with us.
But an important precursor to that was the strategy for children's centres across the city in terms of where they're going to be and how they're going to relate together, how they're going to all be networked together to provide a comprehensive early years service for the city.
The Sure Start project is the most exciting thing that's happened in education for many, many years. It's, if you like, the missing part of the welfare state. It was supposed to be cradle to grave, but the cradle was never there. The under-5s were regarded traditionally, particularly by Conservative governments, as nothing to do with the state. They belonged to mothers, and the state didn't really intervene until children were 5. There was virtually no nursery education, free and available to all. Within the last 8 years, we've seen universal nursery education for 3 and 4-year-olds and the beginning of the Sure Start programme. It's still only very much beginning, but the idea that you can pick up children from the very beginning, rescue those in danger of failing or of being neglected or of suffering at the earliest possible stage. All of the evidence forever has shown that what you can do for the under-5s pays much higher dividends than anything you do for children later. The later you leave it, the harder remedial care and treatment is.
When I was pregnant, I got a letter and some leaflets through in the post and didn't really think much of it. And then, obviously, when she was born, then my health visitor was contacted by my midwife, and that was Linda Evans, who works at the Tana Centre, and sort of explained to me what the Tana Centre was and what it was about.
What the Children's Centre approach does mean is that you can tap in very quickly, refer very quickly, communicate very quickly with the appropriate support for a particular problem or issue. Because we're all based very closely together, or you can bring people in and introduce them to the facilities that the centre has.
Linda, knowing Linda specifically, I know I can phone the Tana Centre and ask for someone to speak to that knows who I am, if you like. Because I do, she does tend to know who I am when I phone up. I know they have lots of people that they look after, but it's quite nice having a one-to-one rather than speaking to a helpline or something like that. Because I phone up, like I was cutting her toenails the other day, and I accidentally snipped the side of one of her other toes, and I didn't know what to do. You can't put a plaster on it or anything, so I just sort of phoned up and asked. It's just nice to know there's someone at the end of a phone who can reassure me that I haven't done something really wrong.
Donna and Paul Tilley, with their 4 children, were one of the first families in Brighton to benefit from the introduction of the Sure Start initiative.
Say hi, Jade. This little one here, this is Harry. Harry, say hiya. Wave at the men. Say hiya. And the one in the white shirt is Amy Lou. Amy Lou's 7. And there's David over there in the blue, and David's 6.
When the system came into place, I was very new to the area. I didn't really have any friends and was sort of looking for drop-in groups, toddler groups and things like that. I put me off in the pregnancy group on the front there.
Maybe I should take that down.
How did you take your coat off?
The support that Donna received in those early months was certainly improved by the close relationship between her health visitor and Playlink worker.
And we started having the Playlink session. She used to bring art materials, toys, books, and we'd play with Amy Lou and that for an hour.
Playlink workers are also part of the new multi-agency working taking place at the Children's Centre. Receiving referrals from the health visitors, they knock on the doors of new arrivals, offering help and support.
It's not about relieving the parents, it's about having time with the parents and the children together. So the idea is that parents can't just go and do their ironing or have a cup of tea. We're all sitting and playing together and chatting. And, you know, from one visit to the next, it can be different. Sometimes a mum might need 5 minutes on her own, and that's fine. But the idea is that she enjoys the time with her children. It's sort of a break in your hectic day sometimes that you need to sort of sit down and think, oh yeah, you know, you can do that, or that's a good idea, or, you know, that's something that we could do together at another time. Sometimes it's very simple things. You know, you can play with a shoebox and put things in it, but sometimes it's things that you would not necessarily think about because you've never been with children before, you've never had that sort of experience. If it's your first child and you've always worked, or, you know, there's never been children around you, you might not have that's the sort of ideas about, you know, what you can do with your children.
If I went to a particular family and made a family assessment, family health assessment, and assessment of the child that was living in that family as well, and then identified specific needs, for example, a child might need speech and language therapy, or a mother might need some extra help managing, you know, demanding behaviour of a child or something like that.
In some cases, it's helping people before they get stuck in a sort of rut where, you know, things are so bad that they can't think how they're going to get better. And actually, when you get the right people coming in at the right times, the idea is that it doesn't get into social services territory, if you want. You're doing something before that. You know, you don't always make a difference, but sometimes you do, and that's when the job is worth it. I mean, I think now we've got a really good relationship with the house visiting team because they know what we do and they understand what it's about. And I think that's definitely improved over the years. And, you know, it's not easy to work with other people. You need to know what everybody else is doing and where you're going.
Ever since the beginning of the welfare state, people have tried to put together social services and health and education, and it is really difficult. A family in trouble will interact with so many different agencies and so many different people crossing their front door. Of course it makes sense to get them all to work together out of one office, to try to pull those silos together, to try to pool those budgets and funding streams, and to say, right, who is the lead person here for this family or for this child? I think it's often, if it's health-led, the education gets neglected. If it's social services-led, both health and education get neglected. And you really need to look at each child completely in the round. There have been case conferences in the past, difficult to organise, but having everybody work out of the same office, flagging up problems with individual children, that seems to me entirely the right way forward.
The Tana Centre has just moved into its new building, a clear sign that there is the political will to make Every Child Matters work. Today, Ruth Kelly, Secretary of State for Education, has arrived to open the building.
Absolutely. And we have a little plaque up there already. Speak.
Now, my role is to hand on to the next mini speech, because I'm the chair of Children, Families and Schools, but Jean Spray is the chair of the Primary Care Trust, who we've been working with. So, Jean, your turn next.
Thank you, Pat. Secretary of State and many friends and colleagues, it's just a few words. I just wanted to say that the Primary Care Trust, of course, is very proud and pleased to be part of the partnership that's brought this wonderful children's centre to fruition that we're all in today. And it certainly demonstrates that we can all work together locally. But I think, as is important, it brings real practical health services to this community. There's going to be teams of health visitors, midwives, speech therapists and other therapists working here, close to this community. And I believe very strongly that if we want to achieve better health, we've got to have health services working with other services, and we've got to have those health services close to and working with their local communities. And I'm sure the work in this building will demonstrate that achievement of better health. So thank you all and welcome all, and best of luck to everybody. I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
Thank you, Jean.
Early intervention is what really matters. If you are an education secretary and you're looking how to spend your money, you get bigger bang for your buck with everything that you do for the under fives. If you can get children to primary school by the age of 5, ready to learn, able to learn, if you have sorted out reasonably any acute family problems, if by then they've acquired decent social and language skills, if they've learnt the basics of how to sit and learn, how to interact with other children, then those children have a much better chance of not failing and of succeeding the whole way through their education.
Thank you very much. And I think the first word I'd like to say is congratulations, because this does not happen without a huge amount of hard work on behalf of many, many local people. And we've just been hearing through the mini speeches about health and education working together, but really working with the community, working with parents and getting people on board. And I think, that's the recipe for success. Because if everyone understands the value of this programme, they'll be able to see it through, we have an enormous potential. And, we as a government sometimes think about what we can do to make people's lives better. But one of the single greatest things we can do is to set up these children's centres and Sure Start programmes. And the biggest difference that we can make to children's lives is by investing early. Yeah. And for generations, we've always invested late. And we hope bit by bit to start turning that round and to give everybody the best start they can possibly have in life. So congratulations to you here in Brighton and Hove. I hope you'll be a model of what can happen in every community, right up and down the country. So well done.
Thank you.
So you're doing a big job today. Wow. Doing the ribbon. Very important. Yours. He is mine. Yeah. Here it goes. Ready, steady. Ooh. Can I do it?
Can we have a posed photo with the little girls for their...
Bringing this new mix of skills into one building can result in a more creative approach to the care of children. The Tana Centre now offers some imaginative services.
Sure Start had a drop-in session, and there was a homeopath that used to come. I didn't know about homeopath services before, and I hadn't used them before, but I did use them with David and they were a great help. We used them for some anger management, some sleep issues, some diet issues. Why was he angry? I think because of his operations and like going in and out of hospital and things like that.
Baby massage was useful, when she had a cold and when she was constipated, when she's a bit agitated. You can't. I've tried playing with toys with her and dancing about with her and walking about, and nothing works. And just a little bit of oil, and you just sort of rub it on her hands and her arms and her legs and her feet, and she just seems to calm down, which is really, really helpful when nothing else works. I wouldn't even think about giving a baby a massage. It's not something I'd do.
The ambition behind Every Child Matters cannot be questioned. But like all government initiatives, there is always the suspicion it will lose momentum and be replaced by yet another scheme.
But I wonder, because you've all worked in this for years as well, what is it that is going to make this happen this time, do you think? Because it hasn't over the last 10, 20 years.
We can give you a double act about this. The point I would raise was that we have done some work around thresholds. I think in the past, the pressures that resist change are organisations worried about losing power. And that's very controversial, but that's what it's about. It's about organisations, about losing power. It's about cultures having to change, to mould, to reshape.
The big obstacles are institutional. It is really difficult to get three completely different professions, social workers, teachers and health workers, with quite different professional structures and priorities, to work together so that they understand each other's language, they understand each other's priorities, and they can really blend together into one discipline. One would hope that at the end of, say, 10 years of doing this, it takes a very long time, we shouldn't underestimate the problems, that there will become, in fact, one service, one united service for children, and nobody will know whether somebody is a nurse or a health visitor or a teacher or a social worker. They will be children's workers.
If you were to go and talk to frontline staff, they're very keen to reshape, to look at cultures, but they don't want to lose their professional identity, they don't want to lose their professional skills. And that's not what this is about. Integration, coming together, is not about people losing their professional identity or losing their skill base or actually becoming some generic jack of all trade. It's actually about organisational barriers, organisational structures being torn away so that those professionals can work better together and bring added value to the child.
The scheme has yet to be extended across the city, but within the pilot area they're having real success in pulling together all the natural and existing energies of the community and local groups. Puffins is a community nursery set in the middle of an estate. Sure Start from the Tana Centre is working in partnership with local voluntary organisations, and they block book places at this nursery. This means that Sure Start can place children that they know to need early intervention, and Puffins benefit from working closely with the expertise of Sure Start. Not just for those with Sure Start places, but for those that Puffins find to need early intervention. It's a way of getting to children whose parents do not naturally look for help. Rahela first came into contact with Sure Start at the Puffins nursery when her children needed English language assistance. She then studied to become a bilingual assistant herself.
Hello, my name is Rahela Afsar and I work for the SEAL. I'm a bilingual assistant, and Monday afternoon I come in Puffin to help a boy who lives in the Milner flat to translate for him.
After getting help for her son, Rahela now helps other children in local schools, making her own contribution to the welfare of children and their families in the local community.
I work 5 days a week and I go to 5 different schools to work with the bilingual children.
And so is it just the language help or is it a social help too?
Language, also if there's family problems, we do home visit. And
what sort of family problems do you mean?
Could be anything, could be with children or could be with parents. With my children, my 2 older ones, when they started, there wasn't any bilingual assistant or help, and they had a pretty tough time in school. Sort of like speaking and telling teachers or children if they need like going to the toilets or need any extra help. With the bilingual, I mean, we are with them, working with them all the times, and they feel confidence and they feel happy that we are with them, and whenever they need help, we are helping them and translating for them.
The Sure Start programme has had a real impact on the confidence of Donna's children. She reflects on how very different it all is from her own childhood.
When you were little, were you angry as well?
I think so. I can't really remember when I was really little, and that. But a lot of the operations when I was older, I suppose I was a little bit in some ways. Well, I enjoyed school, but I didn't enjoy it. I didn't have hardly any friends. Had a lot of them that picked on me and were bullied. I was bullied quite badly at school, and that. So it's only really now since I met Paul and having my children that I've actually got what I would call a network of friends, which is really good because it's like boosted me up a bit as well. I think because I've got to know people. And that the children, I think, have brought out a lot of confidence in me. You found a skeleton that you won at Halloween.
Last Halloween?
No, this Halloween just gone.
And is David more confident than you were at that age?
Yeah, he's a lot more confident. He's a lot more outgoing. You know, he won't stand for any nonsense either. He's pretty, probably like any name calling, any bullying that I suffered quite a lot with at school. Yeah, awful lot.
The confidence Rahela gained encouraged her to help others. She started a group for Asian women isolated in their homes.
For us, we do 1 week Indian dance, 1 week yoga, 1 week we have lunch. Everybody brings a different dishes from their home. We all sit down and we have lunch. And she lives quite far away, so it's a bit difficult for her to come down, but we do encourage her to come down here because she felt left alone on Hollingbury.
Do you find the group is a nice thing?
Yes, they're very good. I know very good English, but sometime weekly come in, and then yoga, very good exercise.
Do you feel less lonely? Do you have friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have friends.
When she comes here, she feels, she's got friends around her. 5 years ago, I was, lonely. Yeah. 5 years ago. Now I'm not. I'm very busy. Yeah.
With family relationships strengthened, the whole community benefits. And with the needs of children now directing council policy rather than the other way round, Every Child Matters is starting to transform and reshape the lives of those children and their families across the city.
I think the child hasn't to shape itself to fit into the services that we presently deliver. We have to fit to that child. So the child might be bent in all sorts of different shapes, or bent in all sorts of different ways. But actually, instead of us saying, well, actually, you need to be bent in this particular way for us to give you a service, we can cope with whatever bent and whatever shape that child has.
In some areas, it's working very well already. You've got people all working out of one office and beginning to share budgets and not to fight one another. In other areas, there's been a lot of resistance, and it's very hard. It takes strong leadership. A Director of Children's Services absolutely determined to make it happen. And goodwill from all sides. Well, you're not going to get that everywhere all of the time. But I think over the years, gradually, bit by bit, these services will come together. It's in all of their interests, and it's certainly in children's interests.
I mean, for me personally, it's about making sure that we're doing the right thing by the next generation. Children are our future, and if we get this right, then we're giving them what they deserve. And that, for me, is the bottom line.